What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/AmITheAntagonist. Alright, this story's called, Am I the Butthole for Outing My Younger Sister to My Older Sister? I'm not sure if there will be formatting issues as I'm on mobile, so I, 18 female, recently heard a very similar story on here where the OP got the a-hole verdict, so I kinda accepted that I'm a butthole as well. However, I told my boyfriend about this, and he says that I'm not the butthole. Well, I have 5 siblings. My older sister, 24 female, is getting married soon. Brovid restrictions have been lifted in my area, and everyone that's coming needs to be tested. Mostly everyone is happy for my sister except for my younger sister, who is almost 14. All she talks about is her, what cake flavor she likes, what dress she thinks the bridesmaid should wear, what theme she wants, and since she's the second youngest, no one reminds her that it's not her wedding. Well, about 2 weeks ago, she told me her master plan to come out as lesbian at her sister's wedding and have her cousin film it for TikTok. She planned on raising her hand when they asked for objections and come out to everyone. I kept telling her not to, but she says that I'm homophobic. I tried for a whole week to convince her not to, but then I decided to tell my older sister about her plans. She tried to speak to younger sister, but younger sister was pissed that I outed her and said that she will also tell everyone about both of our homophobia. My older sister decided that she couldn't come to the wedding. Now we are trying to figure out how to tell my mom without outing her again. So am I the butthole for telling my sister about my younger sister's plans? And would I be the butthole if I told my mom why younger sister is no longer invited? Edit 1. Please don't say mean things about my little sister. Everyone in my family is adopted, including my parents, and older sister and I are the only ones who haven't been through trauma. We were both adopted from India when we were babies. My sister was in foster care until she was 9 and has been through a lot. She was almost drowned by her biological mom, shot by a cop for her race, and separated from her biological siblings, and so I don't want you guys thinking she's some spoiled brat. Someone mentioned that her normal meter is probably messed up, and that's true. She has a harder time understanding what's normal and what isn't. She's been in therapy since she's lived with us. Okay, OP, you're not a bad person. You're obviously trying really hard to be conscious of what everyone is feeling, and that's admirable, so don't think you did anything wrong. I don't know what to say about the younger sister. She's definitely confused as to, like she said, normal meter's messed up. That's a really good way to put that. Alright, this one's called Update! Am I the butthole for outing my younger sister to my older sister? So we decided to have a family coming out party while older sister was away on her honeymoon. We had a great time and it was nice to bond with the family. Then the wedding. Older sister and her significant other decided to leave out the objections part. It was actually kind of funny to see my little sister's face when that happened. Other than that, the wedding was awesome. Good food, nice dancing, at a beach. Well, now my younger sister has a girlfriend. After a little while, I showed her this thread and she was really upset looking at all the responses. Not in a mad way, more in a confused way. She didn't realize and has always struggled with how her actions may come across to someone beside herself. Also, please stop trying to diagnose my sister. She is not a sociopath. You really heard one story about one instance from one person's life and are ready to make a full diagnosis? That annoyed me. However, thank you for all your replies to my last post. They meant so much. Very good job. I love how this story was handled, or situation was handled, and I'm glad everyone's happy in the end. Little sister didn't get crapped on. She realized, or hopefully she realized the error of her ways, and hopefully, with time, she'll adjust to, hopefully a normal, happy life, one without crazy bonkers crap happening every 5 seconds. And OP, I really appreciate your maturity through this. Good job, guys. Good job. This story's called, Am I the butthole for ejecting my boyfriend's engagement ring because he assumed I was taking his name? This happened in July, but the tension has not stopped building. My boyfriend, 36 male, proposed to me, 23 female, at a family function in July. It was his family at his brother's house. A lot of his family were there. His brother and his brother's wife, their kids, my boyfriend's mom, and my boyfriend's sister. They have family get-togethers all the time, so I suspected nothing. Well, near the end of the evening, he proposes in front of everyone. It was super romantic, and I said yes. We've been dating 4 months, and I do really want to spend my life with him. I felt the same way 4 months into a relationship. Didn't feel the same way after a few more. The gag? The ring he got me is expensive and gorgeous and fits. However, about 5 minutes after proposing, I noticed the ring was engraved with my first name and his last name. I think rage is the right word. That he just assumed I would take his name, not even a hyphenated, as if I was now his property. Okay. I handed him back the ring in front of everyone and told him it was beautiful, but he had no right to assign me his name. What? I was not to be his property. We would be equal. Okay. Why not he take my last name? He took the ring back, but didn't really say anything. Most of his family kept quiet, but his mom and sister-in-law did try to comfort me and say he didn't mean anything by it. Things have been weird since. It's like we're not engaged. He's acting like everything is normal, but has not talked about the ring, gotten me a new one, or even announced us as being engaged to his friends. There has been no wedding talk. I figured ball was in his court now with the ring, so I've been following his lead. I guess we're not engaged. My brother said I emasculated him in front of his family, and that my whole concern is stupid, and that I am a butthole for bringing it up at all, but especially in front of others. I feel like stripping me of my name is a big deal, and a discussion prior would have been the right way to do it. I'm more than happy to take his name if he just asked. Am I the butthole? Edit. I did want to add, because I think being safe is important, that the July family get-together was socially distanced and everyone did wear masks. There were about 10 people total. Okay, OP, I'm sorry, boo, but you're nuts. No, I don't get me wrong. I understand the history, or I think I do, the history of taking the husband's name, and like, I understand that, like, you know, the walking down the aisle with the dad passing off the bride to the groom is like handing off property. I get what that is. I get it. And it is a heavily sexist, misogynistic tradition if you take it like that, which I understand if you did. However, not everyone knows this. It is not super common knowledge. And for you to just flip out at him in front of everyone is bonkers. If you had an issue, it's not like him giving you a ring with his last name engraved on it. It's like changing your birth certificate. It's a freaking ring. It's a ring. It means nothing. If it's such a big deal, you can after you guys go home, hey babe, I really want to marry you and I love you so much, but I really feel like you should have asked me if I wanted to take your name. He took a risk. He took a risk. Proposing to you in front of everyone was a risk. And you're acting like he was like freaking some closet misogynist for putting his name. Like 99% of people take their husband's name. It's not super uncommon. In fact, it is like the expected thing. I'm not saying you have to. You can hyphenate, you can keep your name, he can change his name. But like, it is what people assume is gonna happen. If that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But it's just, you need a... I'm sorry, that's just bonkers to me, man. Oh my god, there are ways to do things. There are ways to do things. For instance, he probably shouldn't have proposed in front of everyone because that is a lot of social pressure, especially after dating for only 4 months. He's wrong for that, okay? But you wanted to marry him, and you said yes! So like, man, you just need to talk to each other. Alright, update. Am I the butthole for rejecting my boyfriend's engagement ring because he assumed I was taking his name? So I did what a lot of you suggested, and what I should have done way sooner, and talked to my boyfriend about all of this. Yes, good job. He admitted he felt awkward and weird about the whole thing, and that even though he loved me, he'd kind of soured on the idea of marrying me. I asked him why he didn't bring this up before, and he said, why didn't you? Fair enough. We didn't fight. He wasn't mean, but it was just like having that conversation deflated our whole connection. It just felt kind of sad and empty, and we decided I would move out and we'd end the relationship. So that's what happened. Moved most of my things into storage, and I'm staying with a good friend right now. I feel sad, but not devastated like I anticipated. Being outside of the bubble has helped, and I'm hoping I learned from this mistake, and I can work on controlling my emotions and being mature. Sorry, nothing wild or crazy. That's just kind of depressing. I mean, goes to show that 4 months is not a long enough time to get to know someone. I'm sorry. If your relationship feels completely invalidated by me saying that, well, there's probably other problems going on. But like, I mean, there's people who could freaking meet on day 1 and get married and they have a long and happy marriage. And that's the case with a lot of people with arranged marriages. And, you know, so a lot of them are crappy. A lot of them are really, really bad and crappy and just it's sad to see. But a lot of them are so super happy, super functional. But but the premise is still a little weird to me. But I'm glad you've moved on. I'm glad you've realized how bonkers that was. And you know what? Good time for growth. Oi, oi. This story's called, Would I Be the Butthole If I Didn't Give My Parents a Year of Public Relationship with My Fiancé? I apologize for the length in advance, tilde here at the bottom. Let me start this out by defining public. We, 24 female and 27 male, are public. Anyone I care about knows about our relationship. The only people we aren't very public with is my family. So by public, I mean being open with my family. It's important to know that we are an interracial couple. I'm white, he's black. Now let me explain why we haven't been public. We met in high school. I was a freshman, he was a senior. I had a huge crush on him. We texted and flirted, but nothing really happened. He lived in a large foster family home, so no dates allowed. My parents told me he was too old. They told me I was not allowed to speak with him until I was 18, and my dad told him to never contact me again. When I left for college, we started chatting again and had our first date. I told my mom we were talking. She said to only date people with nuclear families and to not talk to him till I was 21. When I corrected her and said it was 18, she told me she was going to drag me home by my hair. In my second year of college, we made it official that we were dating. I texted my mom before Thanksgiving break that I wanted them to meet him. She harassed me about whether I was pregnant and refused to meet him. I told her in a crowded restaurant that we were officially dating, and she got mad at me for hiding things. Over the course of the next couple of years, every time he got brought up, I could visibly watch her demeanor change. When I tried talking about him in front of family, my dad told me that they weren't ready. I eventually just stopped talking about him to them. Eventually, my aunt saw his profile picture of us on Facebook and figured it out. My mom said she assumed we broke up because I wasn't talking about him. Now I'm moving. He's coming with me, and we want to get married after 5 years together. We both have our masters, and I'm starting on my PhD. My dad told me that my fiancé and I haven't been good at being open about our relationship. When I mentioned how mom threatened me, his only response was, I didn't say there weren't reasons. He suggested that I give them a year of an open relationship in order to let the bad guys act like bad guys. I tried, they resisted. I stopped. I want my best friend with me when I take this huge step in life. My mom and her family's position on interracial relationships and racism are quite clear-cut and explicit. I'm not exposing him to that, and I don't want to experience it. But is that insensitive? Would I be the butthole for not entertaining the idea of giving them a chance to get used to our relationship before we get married? Update. I would like to thank you all for your perspective and advice. I wasn't expecting it to get this blown up. I learned some hard truths, and I appreciate that. I can't respond to everyone, but do know I read your comments. I texted my dad this morning, letting him know that I wasn't going to put up or expose my fiancé to bigotry and racism. I told him I wanted a healthy relationship with them, but this wasn't how it's going to happen. I'm currently looking into getting teletherapy to help me sort through some deep-rooted issues. I would like to end things on a happy note. My fiancé and I are very excited for our move. We are going somewhere cold and snowy, which we love. Our cat son and dog daughter are coming. We hope they will also like the change in climate despite the 12-hour drive they are currently and blissfully unaware of. Again, thank you all for your perspective. I will likely have an update in the future. Wow, I would love an update. So, let's start right now by saying, no, you're not the butthole. You're trying really hard to, deal with racism in a family. It's just ridiculous. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. But no, you're in the right. Instead of just perpetuating this stupid conflict, you're getting out of there and giving them time to realize how idiotic they are. Alright, this story's called Update! Would I be the butthole if I didn't give my parents a year of public relationship with my fiancé? I wish I had a better update. I also wanted to say thank you to those that commented. I got a lot of encouragement and truth. I am seeing a therapist. A few days after the post, I told both my parents that we needed to talk about my fiancé before I moved 10 hours away. They wanted a Zoom call, but I insisted on a phone call because I didn't want to have to communicate with them and be trying to read their faces facial expressions. The conversation went really badly. I had said I was tired of being expected to just feed them information when they never asked about my life. It was long silences and being told I was avoiding them when I asked them what they wanted to know about my life. Honestly, I really broke down after the conversation. On top of all the stress of moving and the pandemic, I just couldn't take it. My parents were still refusing to acknowledge anything we had talked about. My fiance was as supportive as you could ask a partner to be during all this, but I was just really struggling. My sleeping schedule completely reversed, in which I was up all night having anxiety attacks and sleeping during the day. At my lowest, I was sitting in my car, eating breakfast and straight up sobbing. I finally called my dad that morning, where he apologized and promised to do better. We had a really constructive conversation. I just wish he had stuck to it. My parents actually finally met him as we moved. We made a pit stop in my hometown since it was on the way so I could see them and my two best friends before leaving. My dad was polite and friendly. My mom was dead quiet. Moving was stressful, as expected, but we're happy and almost settled in. We haven't gotten married yet. With Brovid cases on the rise, we've been trying to be extra careful. We plan on just a simple courthouse marriage when we get the chance. This is very much to my parents' dismay since I was raised in a conservative Christian home. Otherwise, my parents have completely reverted to their behavior before my original post. Not talking about it, not asking about my life, nothing. They continue to talk about me behind my back, and my dad straight up lied to his sister about how I have a roommate. I'm focusing on my family. I have someone in my life who is genuinely proud of me and interested in my life and happiness. I have a dog and a cat, and now a kitten, that I love with my whole entire heart. We have worked and created a life full of unconditional love. I do grieve for a healthy relationship with my parents, but I'm working on recognizing that I can't depend on a change in their behavior for my own well-being. Edit 2. Just for clarification, I am currently in minimum contact with my parents, meaning there's basic acknowledgement of occasional texts, and that's it. I give them the minimum to stay in contact with my younger sister. My fiance has absolutely zero contact and exposure to them, and the only reason they met on the way out of town was that so I could grab some identification documents they had been hesitant to give me. Man, that's a sad story. But here's hoping that they do come around and eventually grow out of stupid, outdated way of thinking. I thought interracial marriage was just like a topic for the freaking 50s, man. This is ridiculous.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.